Okay, so the big switch on. Oh, let's hope. So these are the front overriders on the bumpers. You can see they're brand new and they're clean up. A little bit of surface rust in on the corners and stuff, but I got a discount from S&G Barrett for them because they were, I sent them pictures. What I'll do is I'll spray in this, which is Brunox, which is a rust stopper, and it coats everything. This is completely sealed inside apart from this little bit on the bottom, so it should be well protected. I've already done one here. I'll take this out so you can see it, and you can see it's gone like a purple colour. Hopefully you can see that. There's a little bit like a purple colour, so any micro rust will just go that purple, and it's all down inside and everything else. So I'll mask out the other one and do exactly the same. And then that'll protect it from any of the paint. So I'll take that off, and I'll do exactly the same with this one. So you can see that one's done. So the next problem is, you may be able to see from those two that there's this caption or captive thing here, but unfortunately you still need to have some movement up and down, left and right. And that means the bolt on a lot of these bumpers, I've seen them where they've stuck a spot weld on it and left the nut sticking out, or the thread. Now obviously the problem with that is if the thread gets damaged or corroded, it's going to be very hard to get it off. So what I've come up with is this little idea. I've got to paint this. So basically I've made a stop in it, as you can see here, so that when you put it in, it can still move up and down and left to right, but it can't turn once you've got the nut on it. You can see it's solid there. But basically it's just like a little T-bar on the end. Doesn't look great, but you can't see it inside. And you can see this one's already fitted that way. And you can see I can open it and I can move it around and go up and down, and I can tighten it. I can actually put, you see I can actually tighten it up against it, so it does work. So what I'll do now is I'll paint this one inside, and then I'll show you how we're going to fit it, and we'll go on from there. So, but I thought that was the best way to do it, make a little T-piece on it, and it'll just basically stop it turning. In there's two gussets either side, you can see there and there, and that just fits into the gusset nicely. You can see there, that'll give you an idea. So it fits internally in the gusset. So it seems to do the job. So I will move on to the next bit. So a couple of things that I showed before, where I put the bar on the back of, I welded on the back of the nut, or onto the side of a nut, so it doesn't turn when you tighten it. The other thing is a problem with these is obviously you can't put your hand inside when you're attaching it to the bumper itself. So what I've done is I've used these O-rings here, that's a bit tighter than the bolt, and I've put the O-ring on. What that'll do is stop it jiggling out. It obviously won't, I can't pull on it, but it won't fall out, because what happens is when you try and put it through the bumper itself, obviously the bolt falls out because you can't keep your fingers behind it. So I've used this little O-ring to give me a chance to pull it forward and put the nut on it, which seems to work quite well. It allows the nut to move around as well. So it's just, and obviously that'll just get crushed as I tighten up on the irons. So I thought that was a quite nice little way of getting around it, just the little O-ring just to keep it in place so it doesn't fall out. So I can offer it up now, and you see it doesn't come out. So there's always a will, well, where there's a will, there's a way. might come in handy for a job that you have to do, and just stick an O-ring to stop it falling out. The great thing about these front bumpers is you can actually take the bumper irons off and the overriders together, only on the front unfortunately. The back one has to be stripped down partially, and I'll show you that right now. So you can see actually how big the irons are there. They're pretty heavy. So the overrider goes here onto this one here through the bracket, and the problem is you could set this up on the bench, but the problem with that is you don't know if the irons are too far out or not, and you might not be able to get it in. This one I'll show you the technique I used to get it on, and you can see when we come down here, you can see there's the irons that go down onto the, so you can see that they'll come out the front. It's just a matter of dipping it up and down. Now unfortunately with the back ones I only got one side in, but you can see the bumper can stay on the back ones and you can pull these out, but you have to take the side ones out, unfortunately. I haven't got them in on that side yet. So as I say, you can see how they are. And if I take you in, you might be able to see, hopefully, you can just see there how the 3 bolts go right the way through it. So that side one has to come off. You can't take them out separately. So that's the downside to it. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make up these rubber strips here, and you can see that they fit underneath on the edges there. They go right into the edge. Then once I've got it in line and I've got them tightened up, I can then take them out, and I know these 2 that go into the chassis are correct, because I need to get that alignment right, otherwise it won't sit properly. These bumpers, oh sorry, the overriders I should say. So I've put that one in, like I showed you, with this little O-ring on it. This is it just painted up, just to stop it corroding. And you can actually see the purple in there now. Whereas any micro rust, it's just covered it. Now all of this is covered right up to here and down the bumper. The only bit that's left behind is this little piece across here. So basically that's the only place where water could get in. Not likely to, because it would probably drip out. But unfortunately you can imagine if you had a cross across there, there's no way you can get your finger up there to hold that bolt in place. So what I'm now going to do is I'm going to cut this strip in to the right length, which then will fit. So basically the long side fits on the outside like that, and you can just see how it will go. And I'll make 4 strips for the front bumpers, and I'll show you what it's like when they're on. So I've got it lined up. I'll put just the knot on it. Okay, so that's kind of loose. So the next thing is take your pre-cut strips, and then what I've found is the easiest way to do it is to leave it loose and run it down the back inside the slot, inside the groove. So you need to leave it loose enough so you can basically feed that in. And the tricky bit is actually here on the bottom. So bring it in as much as you can feed it in, and then when you come round to the bottom, just pull on it as you, with your nail, just pull it through. On that corner. There we go. And what you should have is the extra tail should be on the bottom, not on the top, because there is an edge on it you want to keep. So keep pulling it down. fact, it might be even better to pull it out even better than that. And you can see that once you push it in, you've got that little tail sticking out, and you can just pull that down a little bit. There should be no tail sticking out the top. There we go. There's a little tail there, I can cut that off afterwards. The trickier one is obviously the second one that you want to put in, because it's a little bit tighter now. You've got one piece in. Move this one along. But basically the same thing again. Push that in, feed it down. You might have to slacken the bolt slightly. I'll just slacken that off a little bit. And just feed that surely in. Let's have a bit more room to play with. And it seems to be the easy way, rather than take the bumper off and lay it on its front, because you can't really get to it with the bumper being so heavy and quite cumbersome. So there we go. I'll finish up this video on just the front bumpers. The back ones are going to take a little bit longer to get on with, but as you can see, they look pretty nice. What I'll do is obviously undo them over a period of days and weeks and get them more manipulated, but they seem pretty good, as you can see there. Hopefully you can see there. It's a nice tight fit, and obviously the long leg goes on the outside, so it stops it falling in, but you can see that's a pretty nice, I think you can see that. It's a pretty nice seal on it, so I'm quite pleased with that. Again here, just a little bit loose there, it's not bad there, but on the inside you can see that one there is not quite right, so I'll have to manipulate them a little bit, but I'll bend them into shape first so they sit like that for a while, then we can play with them. But I'm quite pleased, it's really coming on. And as I said, the nice thing, I can take that bumper off in one shot. So I'll start on the back ones, and I'll bring you back on another video for the back ones. So on that note, stay safe, keep the faith, enjoy your hobby, just get out and do something, make each day count. Take care.